In this video, I will show you how to use the mode I made, realistic driving terrains. So let's get to start. The first time you run this mode, you will notice this small icon here. That means you've successfully loaded this mode. This mode requires the CBA mode as its fundament. So, and then as we are here, we can find the test mission I made from a single player scenario and realistic driving terrain VR test. The first time you run this mode, you will need to open the add-on option, and then you find the server-side realistic driving terrain. And then you need to turn on test mode switch. After that, the surface type your vehicle is on, the tilt angle of your vehicle, and the surface classification I defined will be shown on the left bottom of the screen. And it will be easier for you to tell all the specifics of the terrain you are running on. Okay, then let's move on to next stage. I will introduce you every functions of this mode. Let's go back to add options. The sequences I introduce is the same as the description on the workshop of Steam. So the first one is the steep slope function. Here you can turn on or turn off this function. This function will add a script which you check your vehicle's tilt angle vertically per second. And whenever the trigger condition is reached and the mass of your vehicle will be multiplied several times by its origin mass, then your vehicle will be very hard to control and will slip downwards to the lower position of the slope naturally. This is a compensation script in purpose of enhance the slippery effect in reality. I've checked and studied lots of materials of the vehicles in real life, and mostly the cars and the tanks, their maximum steep slope climbing degree is about 25. Yeah, about 25, and ranging from 25 to 45. But mostly no higher than 25. And let me show you. Now you see the you can set up to track the vehicle and the viewed vehicle's steep slope of degree separately. And also because of a specific unique classification in the config of Arma, so the callback is separately named, and its slope parameter is also set up separately. Okay, you see I'm using an advanced development tool to show the mass of your vehicle on screen. You can see it here. Now this truck's mass is 13,400. Okay, let's test this. Please be noticed that the steep slope function trigger degree we set up now is 25. So I will climb a 15-degree slope first. So ideally, the mass of this truck will not change. Oops, sorry. Let's restart. I'll speed up to make it faster. Okay, here we are. See, on this slope, the mass is not changing. Then let's go to another slope, which is more. Okay, here this is 25, this is the trigger degree, but let's just skip it. To the next one, there will be more videos. 30 degree is much higher than the trigger degree of slope function. Yeah, you see its car is pretty hard to control on this. And also the mass of the truck is changed a moment ago. Let's try again. This time you notice, right? You see the change, huh? It switched to about 40 tons. Once the tilt angle is lower than the trigger angle, the mass is just recovered to its original mass. Alright? I think you are pretty clear with this function now. I need to elaborate here. Yeah, this one is the trigger angle I mentioned. And this is the times which will be multiplied to the original vehicle's mass. So here the value is 350, but the time you need to divide it by 10, which means whenever the tilt angle of the vehicle is more than 25, and it will multiply 350% by its original mass. Yeah. So you see the original mass is about 13 tons. And after it's triggered, it switched to about 46 tons. That's pretty clear, huh? And then the next function I need to introduce to you is the bump function. Same as before, you can turn on or off this function here, the switch. This is turn off, and this is turn on. There is a general bump level, which means the priority of this parameter is higher than any of the parameters below. And if you want to adjust the general bump effect higher in general, yeah, you do not need to specific adjust each one. You only need to turn on this general parameter, and all the parameters below will multiple several times. Okay, let's go back. And then here, the bump trigger speed is similar to the slope trigger value. This means whenever you are running over this speed and the bump function is triggered. If that function is triggered, there will be a randomly torque added to your vehicle. The magnitude and the focus point, which will be added on your vehicle, is within a controllable random range. So let's try this bump function. Since we are on the VR surface, this is a special surface for testing. We will need to go back to the very top of this option menu and turn this VR surface bump level higher, like 100. And okay, let's start the mission and test. Now the speed is over 10. Yes, you see it's become bumpy, just like you are driving the vehicle in a pretty rough terrain in the off-road. Yeah. Okay, pretty clear, huh? Let's move on. So you see here I have already categorized many different surfaces of the maps, like wet grass, dry grass, forest, marsh, soft mud, hard dirt, gravel, stony, soft sandy, hard and sandy, icy, slippery snow, thick soft snow. And also there are two remaining surfaces. It's named high quality road and low quality road. But on the road there are no bumpy functions, so I didn't add the bar. To give you a better understanding of all those categories, you will need to test this on some other maps. Till now, the version 4.1, most maps, including both the vanilla maps and the DLC maps, and also 95% of the maps in Workshop, are all compatible with my mode. So you can freely test it on any maps, and mostly you will find out the surface tab categories I showed you. And if you have any suggestions, you can leave a comment in the Steam Workshop. I will keep watching that and reply. Then let's move on. Go back to next function. The track and views damage function is that whenever you are driving over the trigger speed of the view or track damage speed, there will be a accumulated damage added to your views or tracks. And also it will come with some crack noise to notify you that this damage function is triggered. So here also it's the view damage function and the track damage function is separated due to some customized demand of different players. Maybe you will just want the views to be damaged but not detract, or vice versa. The track damage parameter is a parameter that you turn on it higher, and the damage caused by this function will be higher. So same as it goes in the view damage parameter. Also, you can change the trigger speed. The default trigger speed is 55 on all terrains, but you can adjust it to the value whatever you want. Okay, let's try it on the VR surface. Let's set it up to 150. 150, yeah. Start, let's try it. Let's switch to the third person view. Maybe our speed is over 55 and you will hear the crack noise and you will notice the views are being damaged. See here? This damage level is also in a controllable randomly range. If you keep on moving over the trigger speed, eventually the views will all break down. Okay, this time seems the left side is breaking down faster than the right side. Oh, see, okay. This is pretty clear now. Okay, and then we will go on to next point. Should be enhanced Falloff Damage switch now. Yeah, I developed this function because I noticed that in the Arma 3 original setup, sometimes when your vehicle is falling off from a high cliff or some scenario like, the damage is just not same as it is in reality. So there will be a detector on your vehicle and checking the vertical acceleration. If it's higher than some value, the trigger value, the defaultly is 10 meters per second square. So that will trigger a damage to your engine. Also, you can change the level. Higher means more damage, huh? Same as before. Okay, let's try it. Okay, now let's test it on the map. See, I've prepared a pretty high platform to test this function. We notice that the testing of the acceleration is both from a positive direction and negative direction. So see, the engine is broken after this jump. If you try this in the original game, normally it will not cause any damage. We can test it by turn off the Falloff Damage function. Then let's try again. Turn off. Okay, and restart. you see no damage to the engine. This is when we turn off this function. So you can obviously see why I added this function. So this one's okay now. We move on to next one topic. The AI driver speed limit. So here you can put an AI driver in the vehicle, but whenever if you do not want it to trigger the like a bump function, or the damage function, or both, you can set up the maximum speed the AI driver can drive. So here you see it's 55, which means under current setup of this mode, the AI will not trigger the view and check damage, but it will trigger the bump function. You see, the bump function trigger speed is 10, which is much lower than 55. So I will. And the last one is the center of mass function. This is maybe sometimes you will want to test like drifting, or test the car will be easier to flip over. Then you can turn on this. Then the center of mass of the vehicle will added onto its original position of the center of mass. Let's try it. And then you will find that your car will be easier to flip over because the center of mass is increased. You can see the sway of your vehicle is much severe than before. And if you do some fast and ambitious driving, your car will flip over easily. See? Yeah. But normally, this is just the additional function. The default status of this function is turned off. So you do not need to worry about this if you do not turn on this function. Okay. And the last function I need to introduce to you is the surface friction. I've manually adjusted in the config file. So you may check up on the internet for the brake distance test of vehicles in reality. You will find that most normal vehicles, the brake test result from 100 kilometers per hour to 0 is ranging from 30 to 50 meters. Okay, so here you see there's 1, 2, 3, yeah, so this is 30 meters. This is more similar as the data in reality. But you should know that in the original game, the brake distance is pretty short. That's a super reality. That's mainly because of the surface friction of default setup in the original game is more than 1.5, or sometimes it's as high as 2. But I already adjusted them downward to about among 1, which makes the friction feeling more realistic. I'm sure you will understand that if you have a driver license and you have a car, you drive in reality. So it will be much understandable. If not, you can ask someone you know who have a car, who have a driving license. Yeah, that's it. So I think that's all. This is the first part of today's introduction. And if you have any concerns or questions or suggestions, you can contact me. Leave a comment in the workshop or add me friend for conversation. Okay, thank you for watching. That's all.